back to some NRL stuff, and today we're doing a bit of a different video. Instead of ranking best positions, I'm actually going to go ahead and do my predicted ladder for the end of the year, and also the finals, and also the bottom two 8 spots, which are currently the Knights and the Sharks. So let's get straight into the video. So obviously there's still two games left of round 23, and it is the Dragons Roosters and the Warriors Brisbane. So I think this will be the one away game. Roosters Dragons. Roosters will flog them by I'd say 18 points at least. I think this will be a pretty one-sided game. Our next game is Brisbane versus the Warriors. So I think this will be a lot tighter than people think. I'm going to go the Warriors just. This is a crucial game for them, but I think the Warriors will just beat them. I'm going to go by 1 point. I know that will stuff the Warriors for and against, but at least I get the extra 2 points. So now we'll move on to round 24. So we have the Knights Titans. I'm actually going to go for a bit of an upset here, with the Titans beating the Knights. Crazy, but I think the Titans' attack was just probably outclassed the Knights a little bit, with Ash Taylor finding a bit of form and Fogarty finding a bit of form as well. Their team's just sort of more alike and combined, and Fafita and Fasu Maliawi leading them to a 2021 final series. I think the Titans will be too good for them, and I think they'll win by 4 points. Our next game is Warriors Raiders. So I think Raiders will be too good for them. I think with all the Warriors suspensions and injuries, Raiders will be too good. I think they'll win by 12 points as an accurate summary. Our next game is Souths vs Roosters. This will be completely one-sided with the Roosters. All of their suspensions and injuries but at least they're getting Crichton back next week, so that's a bit of a boost in round 25. I think Rabbitohs will win by 18 points. It'll be a bit of an embarrassment, but since Roosters all their injuries and stuff and retirements and suspensions, it's pretty fair to estimate that. Dragons Cowboys is the next game. These two teams both out of finals contentions now. I think I'm going to go Dragons just. I think Dragons will just topple the Cowboys, but only by 4 points. I think it'll be a really tight game, actually a really quality game of football, but yeah, I think the Dragons will just topple them. Sharks, Broncos. So this is another upset for the round. I love a good upset. I think the Brisbane will actually beat the Sharks. Probably by 8 points. I don't know if you guys remember, but I think back in round 16, was it? I think these two teams met and the Broncos toppled them by 8 points again. But I think with Brisbane finding a bit of form and everything's come together, they're getting Tyson Gamble back, which is a boost for their halves. I think the Broncos will be just too good for the Sharks, and a massive upset will probably spoil the Sharks' hopes of getting into the top 8. Our next game is Storm Eels. I think Storm will be completely outclass the Eels with a massive slump form. I think 24 points is a pretty good assumption for where the Eels are at. That pretty much sums up the back end of their season. Our next game is the Eels versus the Bulldogs. So I think this will be another absolute flogging. Manly's for and against. I think they'll win by 30 plus. I don't want to make the scoreboard too embarrassing for Doggies fans, but I think, I just think it'll be absolute smashing. Our next game is Panthers-Tigers. So I honestly think Panthers will be basically full strength. They're getting Fisher Harris back. Potentially Toll, if he can make an early return from his syndesmosis injury, I believe. I think it would be 30 points plus as well. Okay, so now we're in round 25. So this is absolutely crucial for the teams in this sort of section of the ladder. Raiders, Sharks, Dragons, and Warriors. So these teams are all in contention to get the 8th spot. Currently, Titans are sitting in the 8th spot, and Newcastle have pretty much rounded out their spot unless Titans win, which I don't think they will. They pretty much rounded up their spot. So I'm going to go for an upset here. I'm actually going to go Canberra. I know this is the quarter, but I'm actually going to go Canberra by 8. I think that'll just be a bit too good. Whenever these teams meet, it's always a great game of football, quality game of football. I think with them nearly beating Manly on the weekend, but to be fair, they didn't have Tom Pravojevic, who was literally their carry. Without him, they nearly lose all their games. So they lost against Canberra, who was sort of an 8th, 9th, 10th team, and they're 4th kind of comfortably with really, really good for and against. So, our next game is Storm Sharks. I think Sharks are gone for the year. I think Storm will be too classy. People say they'll be resting their players, and correct, they will be. That's why I'm only going to put an 18 points scoreline. And still with 18 points, I think they'll be way too classy. Our next game is Panthers Eels. I think the Panthers will absolutely destroy them. 30 plus, I'm predicting. With their form slump, I think they're really no chance. Our next game is Brisbane Newcastle. I think I'm going to go. This is really important for the Knights game, but I think I'm going to Knights. I think Knights will be just slightly too classy. The Brisbane's defence isn't the best, and Knights have one of the best attacks in the comp. So neither of these sides have the best defence, but they both have kind of attacking weapons with Frizzell and the Knights and Ponga and Watson. So I think Knights will win by a good 12 points. Our next game is Seagulls Queensland Cowboys. I think this will be a floggy. I'm actually going to go 38 points. This is going to be a demolition, I honestly think. If Turbo isn't rested for this game, I'm pretty sure it'll be 38 points plus. Our last game of Super Saturday is Rabbitohs Dragons. Rabbitohs will be way too powerful for them. I think it would be good 24 points flogging. So this is a crucial game. Titans versus the Warriors. Although the Warriors did beat them back in round 1, 19-6, they were full strength and they have a gun side when they're full strength. I honestly think the Titans will just jag the 8th spot position. They haven't been outstanding all year, but they showed glimpses. I think the Titans will win by. I'm going to go 1 point game again. I think with Jamal Fogarty will hit the winning field goal. Yeah, they do have an injury to Brimson, who will most likely be out for the rest of the year. So this game could go either way. If the Warriors get their players back from suspensions and injuries, so they have no more injuries, I think there are a good chance of winning this game. But I think either way, the Warriors can't make it. But I think the Titans will be too good for them. And keep in mind 1 point, even though for and against doesn't matter at this point. And the last game doesn't really matter because these teams are in contention. I think Bulldogs will beat them. They'll play round out their season with the last hurrah. Tigers have been poor all season. They haven't showed any glimpses, really. I think the Dogs will get a nice win for the rest of the year. So if you guys are wondering, this is my ladder. So Storm, Panthers, Souths, Manly, Chookies, Eels, Knights, Titans, Raiders, Sharks, Warriors, Dragons, Tigers, Broncos, and Cowboys and Bulldogs. So obviously, at least one Queensland team makes it into the 8, but only just. But luckily, the for and against is good. So let's get straight into the final. So our first game is Storm Manly. There's no score for this, so I think I'll just go quick. Storm, Chooks. And I'll talk about this game a bit. Knights, Eels. If Eels are down on players, they don't have Micah Sebo. If they sustain more injuries, they don't have Campbell Gillard. If they sustain more injuries, I think Knights have a good chance of winning this. It's one of the biggest upsets in final histories. I'm going to go Knights. I really am. Although they won't get too far into their finals campaign, I think they'll certainly beat the Eels. And our next game is Penrith Souths. I think Penrith will be too strong since they're full strength with getting To'o and Fisher Harris back. The next game is Chooks, Roosters, and Rabbitohs. Knights, I think we're disappointing him for the Knights. And the Roosters are just too battered and bruised, so I think Manly will beat them. So our next game is Storm, Rabbitohs versus Penrith Seagulls. So this is a big game. I'll go the Storm over the Souths to make the Souths' grand final drought 4 years, unfortunately. And then we have Panthers Seagulls. So I'm going to go. This is going to be so controversial. I don't care what anyone says. Seagulls will beat them. Yep. And Seagulls will be in the grand final. I think this will be one of the best grand finals in history, apart from the Cowboys Brisbane one in 2015. I think this will be the best grand final in history. I'll go the Storm. I'm only going to go by 1 point. It'll go to golden point and everything. I think this will be such a cracking game. I honestly do think in the grand final, the big stage, when Manly get Paseka back and Sifley back from suspension, they'll be even more stronger. Dawn will be stronger with Kamakamitha and Christopher Solomona. So let me know what you guys think of this grand final, Storm Seagulls. I think Storm will win. Let me know what you guys think of my 2021 ladder prediction from 2 rounds out. I know it's a bit unfair since it's only 2 rounds out, but I think Titans Knights will jack 8th, 7th, and 8th. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you later. See ya.